Welcome into the locker room, where we're going to look back on a weekend where there were changes in the table in both Spain and Italy. Coming up tonight, Derbi Madrileño leaving the two teams 10 points off the pace. That's the two Madrid teams. Sampdoria sentenced Juventus to defeat, and the title rivals took advantage. And we've got our top goals still to come too. And I have witnesses with what I'm going to say now in the form of Thomas Rongan and Gary Bailey. At the weekend, Ray, Christian Vieri joined us on the Extra and said, "Oh, Napoli, I'm going to say it now, Napoli are going to win the league." 2 segments later, this is before Juve's game, he said, "Actually, no, it's going to be Juve." So I'd like to know, Christian, what you think now after the weekend's results.
7 days a week.
Unbelievable. What can
you can't change your mind when you say Napoli. Now what?
Or
Napoli
Juve?
or Juve?
I'm sticking with... No, I'm going to go Napoli.
OK, let's get started in La Liga, though, tonight. We will be talking Serie A a little later on. And El Derbi Madrileño ended goalless. It's the first time that Real Madrid had failed to score on the road in La Liga under Zidane. In fact, the last time this fixture ended 0-0 in the league, Zidane was still playing for Madrid. That was back in 2005. Now, 1 point is not enough for either Madrid side right now. For Real Madrid, that's 12 points dropped in 12 games. And they'll be sad not to have come away with more in this one.
You know what, Kay, for me, it's a loss. They had to win it. Normally, you would say a draw at Atleti is a good result. But when you have to win the game, it's a loss. And on top of that, Ronaldo still not got his form. Benzema still not got his form. And even Marcelo nearly gave away this opportunity early on. And he's not playing well. So when you've got many big players that they have not on form, they're in all sorts of trouble. So, tough times for Real Madrid at the moment.
Ray, you were on the call for this one. What stood out to you with Real Madrid?
Well, it wasn't the greatest of games, first and foremost. It was certainly a game that Real Madrid couldn't lose, and they didn't. But they came into this game looking for the 3 points. Listen, I love Isco. Nobody loves the little bandy-legged, bearded beauty more than me. But this situation is that there's an effect taking place with Isco's involvement, and it seems to, I don't know, unbalance the team, because it's not that. He's the best player on the field for them. So how can you alter that? But the dynamic of Real Madrid is totally different to what it was last year, Bobo. The dynamics, and it's not just because they're missing Gareth Bale, who this game was absolutely tailor-made for that type of match. But there's problems everywhere you look. There was some good responses as well. Modric stepped his form up. Toni Kroos had a good game. Casemiro, the captain as well. There were some real good performances, but combined, the team isn't putting it together.
Go ahead, Bobo.
You go.
I agree with you. These two teams played each other on the 12th match day last year, and it was 3-0 for Madrid on the road.
Right.
And both of the teams are flying, playing well. You look at Atleti, same thing. Griezmann, longest goal-scoring drought right now. You look at Ronaldo. You see so many parallels between these teams. There was more fouls than good play, in my opinion.
Yeah, it wasn't a good game.
And Madrid was 4 points ahead of Barca at this date last year as well. Saying that, they're 10 points behind. You know what? Zidane, his first year, 2016, Kay knows this, was 12 points behind at one point in time and finished 1 point behind Barca late in the season.
Right.
So,
okay.
You know what?
But the players are so badly out of form. I mean, Cristiano's getting outrun by Juan Fran.
Yeah.
I think they just, I agree with you guys, very sloppy. But we've got to remember they won 2 Champions Leagues in a row. They've won the World Cup for teams. They're going to play another one soon. They've won everything in the last 2-3 years.
So they've lost their desire.
So, of course, they're not hungry as they were last year and the year before. That's why, if you see, the players are still the same players. It's not that you're going to change in 3 months.
Right.
Sure. It's not that before they're good, now they're not good. They just, all of them, it's not 1 or 2 players. Right. It's all of the players. So what does that mean? Mentally, they're all in the same situation.
And he hasn't been able to freshen it up either because of the players that we've said before that have been allowed to go.
They're also moaning today, not particularly straight from the words from the mouths of the Real Madrid players, but definitely the Spanish press, that decisions are not going their way. A number of penalties as well that haven't been blown their way this season. We know we don't usually talk too much about refereeing decisions, but this was one of the main talking points coming out of this game, especially for you guys at the weekend. Sergio Ramos here with a boot to the face from Lucas.
Thomas and I see this differently. I think this is difficult to call as a penalty because they're both going for the ball. Have a look here. Ramos dives for, I think it's Hernandez, puts his cleat up to clear it. Does the red boot get the ball? Is it too high? I just think it's too difficult for the ref to call that a penalty, to be honest.
It's too high. He doesn't get the boot. Ramos is trying to guide that one. If you look at the rules in particular, that's 100% PK. I don't care if you get whacked by a defender, intentionally or not, it's a red card.
Can you be sure that he didn't get the ball first? Can you be sure from that he didn't get the ball first, Hernandez? That's what I'm saying. It's
What do you mean?
if he kicks the ball and then connects with his head, that's not a problem.
I think the thing is
Are you
that
kidding
the
me?
ball.
If you come off the line and put my elbow up in here and I split your nose, and I said, listen, I had the ball first, but here you go, Gary Bailey. Come on.
You put your head
No,
down.
Gary, it's above. If
you kick the ball,
Gary,
first.
it's above hip height. It's above hip height. The leg. That's a
But he's ducked
foul.
down to get it.
Ducked down to get it.
Went
Get out of
in
here.
the direction that Ramos hit with his head.
Yeah,
if the ball goes that way, that means he gets
Fair
the
enough.
ball. But the ball went this way, where Ramos was looking.
Correct.
So that means that
100%
Ramos
foul.
hit the
But are
ball.
you sure? Can you give a penalty and say, I'm absolutely sure that he got the ball before Hernandez? I can't be sure from looking at it.
If the defender touches the ball, it's going to go away.
Well, you assume it will. It might just touch it by a little bit.
Just like 2%.
I think it was one of
and a
those
broken nose.
situations in a derby, Thomas, and we've all been in games like this where the tension and the expectations and the referees rightfully manage those sorts of games in a different way. I think in that circumstance, in that flashpoint, it was two players desperate. Two players playing to their absolute limit.
Yeah.
Ramos stepping in to get a fair header, and the player that comes up against him, Hernandez, desperately trying to get it out, and it was a clash.
But wasn't there a definite penalty later, though? There's another one that I think
in the
is
area
Kane.
in minute 60.
Yeah,
We're just going to show you a few
This
of the
was
things
different,
because it's good
Yeah.
to know as well why Real Madrid are feeling a little bit aggrieved, and we'll take a look at some of the moments and we decide ourselves what we think.
His hands are in an unnatural position, high up in the box. It's clear to see. Have a look. It hits him on
Where's
the
the ref?
underside of the arm.
Did you see where the referee was?
5 meters.
Clear look at it. Absolutely
Well, I think
clear
he's made
look.
a mistake because looking at it now with the benefit of slow motion, I think that's a penalty. Yeah.
Hands up, always
Yeah.
100%
There you
penalty.
go. That's a
Hands
penalty,
should be
Kane.
behind the back.
But it's a hometown decision. How many times do Real Madrid get hometown decisions when they're at home? You know,
Yeah,
it's-
same home, but obviously, in
Yeah.
Atleti Stadium this time. 85th minute as well, we see another incident very similar to that one where it's another handball incident. This has all been picked up in the Spanish press today. But obviously, they always break down every single decision when it comes to games like this, not least when a team comes away with less than 3
A lot
points.
of the times you look at the player's reaction and watch Casemiro's reaction to this. See the ball, the two players going up.
It's a penalty, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a penalty
Yeah.
here. What do you want to say?
Yeah.
How many penalties do I give like that? When players jump and their hand is high like
Let
that?
me ask you this: if it hits Casemiro, would he give him a free kick the other way?
Yeah,
I think he
this is-
probably would.
this is not
penalty
PK.
is a different
Too much.
thing.
Okay,
Thomas,
now
He's protecting himself a little bit. He's elevating a little bit.
Better
It's not here.
protect
It's right
yourself, Gary.
here. It hits him. To me, this
but
is a
you gotta-
natural position
Okay.
when you're in the air,
But, so
Bobo.
what? But you got to be careful. You're in this 18 year. You have to be careful.
it
You
was
know
a
you're
derby.
there.
Yeah.
They're not going to let the big boys play. There's got to be broken
Gotta be
noses
contact,
before
sure.
the call.
But
There was a broken nose, wasn't
Yeah,
there?
It was. But here's the-
Hands up, who's had a broken nose on this panel?
many times. Yeah.
Four of us, four
But here's
players.
the thing: we
No,
can,
not you,
we
of
can, we
course.
can, we can talk about how unlucky Real Madrid are. Ben's 1 goal in 8, Ronaldo 1 goal in 8,
I agree.
Messi 12 goals, Suarez
Yeah.
5 goals. At the end of the day,
So-
you can't look for help all the time. You've got to produce it on the pitch.
maybe they need some changes there. You talk about where players fit, talking about Isco, Ray.
Yeah.
Now, never mind that the transfer window's shut. The rumours continue about potential moves next summer, like Sergio Aguero to Real Madrid. So let's humour it at least. How would the team line up? And who would make way for a player like Sergio Aguero?
You're talking about next summer, next July.
next summer, next
We're
July.
only in November.
I know, but of course, the
And
papers have to
the
be
lunatics
filled.
are already talking about next July. How can that be? We got
Would
the
it be a
whole
good fit for
winter.
you,
We got
though?
the whole January. The
Yeah.
market's open. We're talking about. I don't want to say anything. I refuse to talk about this.
You know what, Kay? It depends completely on what happens from now till the end of the season. You say, what if Benz goes on a rampage and Ronaldo's brilliant and Bale's great? They won't sell any. Having said that, if Benz continues the way he is and Ronaldo's struggling, they could sell them all. It depends on what happens over the next 3, 4, 5 months.
Hey,
now-
there could be another manager in about
Yeah.
at the summer. Let's
Obviously,
be real honest.
the manager in danger now as well. Now, as things go from bad
So
to
what, you
worse
wanna
for Real
change it?
Madrid,
You want me to go home now? No. You want to change the manager? What you want?
No.
Everything in 3 years.
No, Bobo.
it's still early.
By next summer, when they talk about
Let me
Aguero,
ask
you know,
this,
who's going
though,
to make the
but
decisions? I agree with you.
Is
Don't
he
even
the
talk about
type
Aguero.
of player that a Real Madrid team would fit Kun Aguero?
Oh, I think
Or
so,
is it
yeah.
Harry Kane? Two totally different types
He's
of
a lovely
players.
finisher, this guy, Kun Aguero.
I agree. I'm just saying, Bobo, sit yourself
No,
down.
you two
Flipping
disagree.
Italians,
No,
man.
no.
You get, Italians, you get all discombobulated over nothing. I mean, they're out the World Cup. I can't even talk to this guy.
I'm depressed, man. You
I'm
gotta
telling you.
Bob, I hate to say it, but I might go with Ray a little bit.
On Harry
He's a
Kane?
better now form of Benzema. He can hold the ball, can bring people in. Aguero is a pure goal scorer
different
like
type.
Suarez.
Right.
You can't play through him really, so
right.
he
Guys,
needs service,
we
and he's not
started-
going to get it from Ronaldo.
The league started 2.5 months ago.
Yeah.
We're talking about a year.
I know.
You said you don't want to
Somebody
talk
asked a
about this, so
question.
we won't. Now, let me move on. As things go from bad to worse for Real Madrid, things keep getting better and better for Barcelona. And now Luis Suarez has found his scoring boots. So that's even more things in their favour. But it wasn't just him on the score sheet. We'll get to that in just a moment, though. As we look back on this game against Leganés,
Busquets.
who've been keeping it very tight at the back this season.
I just want to say Busquets. I mean, Suarez will get the result, but look at that pass. Are you kidding me? I mean, that is an absolutely... What about the goalkeeper there,
Yeah,
Gary?
no. Cuellar.
Not his best moment, Cuellar, there. But you know what? As far as Suarez is concerned, as long as you get scoring again, I'm sure he's
for
delighted.
sure.
And Alcácer was involved in the first one with a shot. And what does he do again, Ray? Another shot creates an opportunity, and Suarez says, "Thank you, I'll tuck that one away."
Also, Valverde keep the same 11 as in the last game they played when Alcácer actually had 2 goals. He's been very good for them this year,
Absolutely.
obviously, and it's a total opposite that we see from Madrid
Real
right
Madrid
now.
will go
Totally opposite that we saw last year under
exactly.
Lucho Enrique. They changed it every damn week, and everybody was saying, just pick your best 11 and go with it.
Which he
Like
did.
you didn't know it. But also, Christian, it was something you brought up at the weekend, that perhaps Benzema doesn't have the competition he needs now. And when a player like Alcácer's come on and scored before the international break, maybe that has given Luis Suarez the kick up the
Yes,
backside.
but the thing is that Alcácer is not going to play. Even if Suarez doesn't score for 20 games, he's not going to play.
Right.
If
And
they
then
have someone,
Dembele comes back
yeah,
too, then
when
correct.
Dembele is, there's more excitement there. But I think that Suarez sooner or later had to start scoring, because at least, you know what, Benzema, he doesn't work that much. Like, you don't see him that much. Suarez, you see him run around working a little bit more.
Crafting.
Brilliant.
Okay, it
And
wasn't
by
just...
the way, Kate, can we mention the goalkeeper quickly?
Of course.
Which one?
Thank you. What do you mean, which one? Ter Stegen. Only conceded 4. Best defensive start ever. So, at least he's got to
so
mention.
great at both ends of the pitch.
And
Now,
Paulinho.
well, here we go.
He's not a goalkeeper.
Funny, Ray.
Goal scorer.
Funny you should say that, because it wasn't just Luis Suarez on the score sheet for Barcelona yesterday. As one Brazilian player left Barca this summer, another came in. And there were many who had their doubts. So here's Eric Krakauer with more on Paulinho.
When Barcelona announced Paulinho's signing in August, the move was largely mocked by pundits and fans alike. With a $45 million price tag, and with the deal being inked only 10 days after Neymar's shocking departure, Paulinho's arrival was regarded as a desperate move from a board under fire. The fact that not a single jersey with his name and number was sold at his unveiling seemed to confirm the dissatisfaction surrounding Paulinho's signing. And a wave of ridicule swept the internet when he failed to juggle successfully during his pitch presentation. But in just under 4 months, Paulinho has proven a shrewd signing. As well as adding some metal to Barcelona's midfield, the Brazilian has displayed a nose for goal, netting 4 times in La Liga. That's the same amount of strikes as Real Madrid's BBC. After being the butt of the joke, it appears that it is Paulinho who is having the last laugh.
All right then, Ray, Paulinho. These are his numbers this season. And this is a man who, I will say, Ray, you said from the beginning that the doubters were wrong.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw him in the
And Thomas.
Libertadores when he was with Corinthians. He was a tremendous player. What I like about this guy is that he's a finished article. He comes in, there's nothing to be learned, but he's adapted unbelievably well. He's tactically very, very smart. He's hitting off a better relationship with Messi as time goes by. There was a couple of little moves that, you know, that were absolutely wonderful when he got in. Coming in off the bench, he's accepted, he's being introduced slowly, but man, he's to the manner born.
Absolutely. I mean, Messi's got 2 assists on his goal. He got 2 assists on Messi's goals as well. So there's nice chemistry.
Nice chemistry between
Absolutely.
the two of them.
Everything, he
Certainly
breaks
is.
the lane so well, he
Best
presses
move.
strong.
Best move of the year for all the clubs in Europe.
Oh, there you go. That's been discussed
he's a
on
good
tonight's
header of the
Extras,
ball
all
as
you
well,
watching.
eh?
Scores lovely
Now,
goals.
when we return, we'll discuss the changes at the top of the table in Italy, where right now, Juve are dropping down the pecking order. Welcome back to the locker room. What I love time, and we're talking about holding the shirt up craze, but who did it best? Let's take a look at Lionel Messi first. A big moment for him in this one, holding up the shirt here. And this is the one that everybody remembers more recently. This was done in El Clasico, obviously at El Bernabeu, so it really did mean a lot. Here's Ronaldo doing the same, holding up his shirt in the Spanish Super Cup. And showing his abs off in the process as well. Then Nabil Fekir did it. He also got a yellow card for this and suspended for the next game. But this was to the Saint Etienne fans, so that was quite inflammatory as well. And then this week, because he was missing for the game, the wonderful Lyon fans all held his shirt up too in the stands.
Oh, nice.
Because they support their players. So that's great to see Lyon doing very well this season. There he is, Fekir. He likes that one. That's made him giggle. Maybe a little bit shy there as well. So, guys, who did it best?
Look, can I just say the best taking off of the shirt celebration of all time? Asprilla for Newcastle United. He took his shirt off, went over to the corner flag, took the corner flag off, put his shirt off, under the flag and ran around the stadium. Now that is a shirt celebration.
That is the one.
Messi wins that one.
Okay, this is a wonderful what I love tier. This is the Feyenoord fans for Brad Jones. Now, they know he's a Liverpool fan, and it was 6 years ago to the day that he lost his son Luca to leukemia, just 6 years old. It would have been his 12th birthday. So in the 12th minute, they all sang "You'll Never Walk Alone." Wonderful stuff here.
Dutchies, different
Thank you, Ray Hudson. Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
The keeper did
There's
say
bigger
afterwards
things
he
in
was
the
very
game
moved.
sometimes.
Well said,
Certainly
well
is.
done,
So
Dutchies.
wonderful stuff there. Well done to the Feyenoord fans. Now, Juventus got to see what all the fuss was about when they took on the in-form Sampdoria on Sunday, a side who'd won every game at home this season, a record they maintained after this game too. So Inter leapfrogged Juventus into second with a win over Atalanta. Roma beat Lazio, and Samp are just behind those two in the table as well. So that's Roma, Lazio and Samp, who all have a game in hand. Now, aside from Napoli, who are top of the table, and we've already talked about them, who's the biggest threat to Juve, who've now dropped down to third? Is it Inter, who are above them, or Roma and Lazio, who are just below them?
You want to start?
I think Juve is their problem, themselves.
That's the biggest threat.
Because Barzagli and Chiellini after the game, Chiellini after the game, Barzagli today said that there's 25 players in this team. We all have to go the same way. We all have to train, give everything 100% in training. And when we play, we have to give everything. We cannot concede these goals game after game. This is not a team that can concede so many goals like they're conceding.
Yeah, but assuming they do, just assuming that Juventus for some reason fall apart, I think as long as Icardi stays fit, Inter are solid. They give nothing away. He's an unbelievable goal scorer. Handanovic in goals has been fantastic. If they could grind this away, Ray, but they have to keep Icardi fit.
If they keep Icardi, exactly. You took the words out of my mouth. That's the key for them. But I agree with Bobo. I think this Juve team gets their mojo back.
Any different, Tom?
Last point, Thomas.
What was the question again? Because
Who's the biggest threat to Juve?
I got books here. I don't even know where I'm at. I mean, seriously. I mean,
we've been waiting for 4 hours.
Roma or Lazio or even Sampdoria, the biggest threat to Juve.
To Juve,
Not Napoli.
I can't pick Napoli.
No.
Okay, because Napoli,
We've
by the way,
talked about
will
them too
not
much,
get
they're
out of the
already ahead.
UCL. Will have an easy schedule. They win Serie A, Roma second, Inter third, Juve
Good
fourth.
Good transition. So you say Napoli, they're
I
not
bet?
the only ones in danger of the Champions League games coming up this week. There are some big names in danger of not progressing. Also in peril, Monaco, who knocked out Dortmund to join Atletico in last season's semi-finals. Now, Napoli must win by any scoreline that leaves them at least level with Shakhtar on a head-to-head. They will confirm a top-3 finish if they pick up more points than Feyenoord. Monaco, semi-finalists last season and Ligue 1 champions, they've got to win and hope that Porto do not stay in contention for a top-2 finish. They'll be confirmed 4th if they lose. Atletico have made it through the group stage 4 years in a row, reaching 2 finals, but they failed to win this term. Simeone's men remain in contention with a win or a draw if Chelsea lose. They stay at least third place if they win, and Karabakh lose. And Dortmund have progressed 5 seasons running, but they have not won a single game in the tournament this campaign. They have to beat Spurs and hope that they don't win against Aston
Tell him, K. Murray. Here we go.
Hang on a second. Ray didn't get it. Can you just go through it again?
Yeah.
All right, who's the big team that's not going through for you? I mean, there's probably more than one of them. Can you see Atleti not progressing? Can you see Monaco, Dortmund?
Atleti, definitely out for me.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't understand what you said.
No, Atleti out, Napoli out.
Yeah, I agree.
Second place for Madrid. and Juve in second place as well. So they're all going to be out in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I need to go and drink
Thomas,
some water
whatever.
now after
I
explaining
think Juve
that.
beat Barca.
When we return, and he thinks Juve beat Barca. See you in a minute.
The Locker Room is presented by Ford. Go further.
Our top 5 goals are brought to you by Ford, and it was a good weekend for Uruguayan goal scorers, starting in at number 5, Gary Bailey, with Lucas Torreira for Sampdoria.
Yeah, this is a lovely strike. You'll see the build-up here. They've got quite a few options in midfield, Sampdoria. But what a good strike into the corner. Now, again, Chiellini, could he have closed him down? Yes, yes, yes. But nonetheless, he puts power behind it, flashes it in the bottom
Turn your
corner.
back, Chiellini,
Christian
please.
Vieri, Perotti on this penalty. Cool as you like.
Wow, in a derby, kicking a penalty like this, looking at the goalkeeper and to the end, you have to be very, very good.
Where's he from again? Just somebody tell me where he's from.
He's Italian.
Why do you think when
Argentina.
this one asked?
Is he?
Here's Borja Baston getting the winner for Malaga to give them just their second win of the season. A cool finish,
Oh!
a late goal. That's Depor defeated. And can we just say, look at the Malaga fans, just 2 wins this season, and they are still filling La Rosaleda Stadium. So
Go
good to see
Malaga.
that. And Borja Baston giving them something to smile about. They've not had too much to smile about this season. In at number 2, another Uruguayan goal scorer.
Bring it on, young Maxi Gomez. Here we go. The young Uruguayan international, the future of Uruguay, the future of Celta Vigo. What a goal. Look at that here.
Thomas,
Getting
can I
away.
say
Yes,
something?
Oliver, talk to me.
Horrible goal.
Oh, okay. All right, next.
Hey,
Go to
Steve's
number
got a
1.
few. Go on, Ray.
Go to number 1.
Oh, it was a nice loopy header, that.
Thank you. Thank you, Ray.
Come on,
I
Ray.
don't think the goalkeeper
Killing
should
me,
have had
Bobo.
it. His goalkeeper should. Here, Jeffrey Kondogbia. Look at this. This is a wonderful strike. One touch to control it, and then used as the upright as his reference point. More curve and swerve than Jessica Rabbit. Frenchman hits it. Absolutely beautiful. Jeffrey, hotter than French mustard.
Nice stuff. There we go. So that's everything we've got to see. Okay, now just a quick prediction, because we'll be losing Ray at the weekend because he's off to see that game between Valencia and Barcelona. So we've not talked about it too much today, but we do want to just know if you think Valencia are title contenders this season. Their 8th consecutive win this weekend. Yes or no?
No.
No.
No?
I don't think so.
Anybody that saw that game against Espanyol at the weekend, and I know it was a reduced team for all the
But
Valencia
they ground
supporters.
out the results.
Grounded out. Did you see the game? They hit the post like 4 times.
how did it end,
Missed
Greg?
chances
How did it
galore.
end?
Espanyol were 10 times the team.
And
that
who won?
Valencia was.
See?
2-0
What do you
Valencia.
reckon, Bobo?
There you
I don't
go.
think so.
No,
No.
Thomas?
No.
No, there you go. You got your answer.
Ye of
okay.
little space. Let us know what you think at home with hashtag The Locker Room, and we will see you next time. Enjoy the Champions League this week. See you on Friday.
Bye. Shout out to Luca de la Torre and Gonzalez.
The Locker Room is presented by Ford. Go further.